people were saying this is where the story gets crazier. And you know what? If there's really any moment for the game to get crazier, really it's at this exact moment. Considering everything. I was this close to crying out and saying that I couldn't run anymore. Dude, I mean, he's been running for this whole time. In fact, I may or may not have said it several times unconsciously. But even so, Fez never once looked back at me. She just kept going. She's saving us, it's fine. Just keep running, you son of a bitch. Before I knew it, I found myself on a road where the Shuto Expressway ran overhead. Can I just steal one of these bikes? Like, damn, it'd be much easier. Why didn't I do that before? A Shibuya station was only a little bit farther away, but there were barely any people around. Without a shred of hesitation, Fez started to head down the stairs that led into the gaping maw of the underground. Ah, my people. Oh, no, it's literally just... upon reaching the bottom of the stairs, she finally came to a stop. Whew, that means we can finally come to a stop. I let go of Fez's hand and doubled over on the stairs, gasping for breath. Dude, I wondered how much running I'd done today. I didn't think I'd ever exercised so much in my entire life. Our muscles were atrophied, but now they're not. Well, even she's doubled over in exhaustion. My goddamn, that's us right now, too. For a while, the only sounds present in the dim, dreary underground tunnel were the sounds of Fez and myself breathing. I look up at the entrance where we just came down from, but there were no sign of our pursuers. That's good, right? Oh, why do I feel like everything's gonna go horribly wrong? I guess that meant we'd managed to escape somehow. That aside, this was my first time learning that this underground passage even existed. Perhaps it didn't. Maybe it's all just what we see and what we don't. On top of that, even though it was fairly close to the station, there wasn't a single person passing through it. One of the fluorescent lights that illuminated the tunnel was on its last legs, flickering on and off like the hash-slinging slasher was doing it without end. There was a faint smell of rotting garbage in there. Okay, ew. It was a place that symbolized the underground side of Shibuya. If someone were to attack me here, even if I screamed as loud as I could, it may not even reach at the outside. Don't say that. Stop talking. I mean, he's not talking, you know. This was not a place I would ever want to come alone to. She could literally kill us, right? Oh my god, never. I'm just like paranoid of everything now. Hold up. Did I do a negative last time? I think I did. Yeah, I did a negative last time. So I should do a perverted positive, right? That would make every... I'm doing a positive. Scott, why don't you just not choose anything? Hey, fuck you. This is my playthrough, and I do what I want. Still breathing heavily, I slowly examined Fez's profile. She was a charismatic songstress who captivated the youth of Shibuya. People even called her a prophet. And now, that very same Fez was here alone with an otaku freak piece of shit like me. I wasn't sure what to make of it. Her forehead was beading with sweat, with several drops running down her cheeks. She was wiping it off with the back of her hand. Her breasts, though exposed through her camisole, rose and fell with every breath she took. Of course, he's like, I bet he watched a bead of sweat go all the way down. You already know. Fuck you, Takumi. A glimpse providing healthy eroticism in an atmosphere flowing with inui. Moe didn't do it justice. The best and only possible word befitting her was erotic. Oh, maybe it's a bad idea that I chose positive. I could always go back to negative. Nope, it's too late now. I already clicked. Oh, okay, no, we're just very positive right now. It's fine. The camisole was with its cross-shaped design was downright criminal. And I couldn't help but think that it didn't look like she was wearing a bra underneath. Alright, maybe she really wasn't wearing one. That would be interesting, I think. Very interesting. What kind of underwear did Fez usually wear, I wondered? Probably the sexy kind, like black or red. Why am I inhabiting his body? But personally, to be fair, I did choose this. But personally, I'd want them to be a nice and clean white. Wait, what kind of stupid shit was I thinking about? Did I forget the situation I was in? You'd kind of do that a lot. You use these to escape reality. Yeah. I nodded in response. It wasn't just the police. Yua was following me too, but I was too exhausted to tell her that. Oh. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, so they already talked to you. Oh boy. NewGen. The lyrics that Fez had written matched up with the string of incidents. I would see if I were the police and if someone was very spot on with the predictions that go along with the murders, I would also go and investigate there. Or her, rather. That was why all her sheep wouldn't shut up with all those rumors. They'd been saying that she was a prophet. That's understandable. As the NewGen criminal? Preposterous. I thought the same thing back when I'd first heard her lyrics. Hell, I'd even thought that Fez herself was Shogun. Boy, were we wrong. But considering the fact that she'd saved me, she probably wasn't. What do you mean? You've already seen it. You already know. You crazy man. Putting all that aside, I wondered why Fez was even there. Her saving me must have just been a coincidence. Yeah, it had to be. I mean, I'd been right in front of the concert venue, so there was probably just another concert today. See, that's what I just figured that. I know, like, it was all closed down and done, but I might be crazy. Who? That's what she was thinking. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, Yua was trying to set me up. God damn it. Shogun and that girl were gonna ruin my life. I feel like our life has already been kind of ruined a lot already. Oh, it's like that thing where, you know, you feel comfort in not being the only one. Why was she laughing? Okay, settle down. I yelled out frantically. My voice reverberated loudly through the underpass. But I couldn't stop now. Yeah, that was a really bad idea. Though, to be fair, we don't know that. We don't know a lot of things. Fez whispered, returning to her usual dispassionate voice. The what? Oh God. I don't like when she smiles. I mean, I kinda do. Like, another fucking mental case? Another goddamn chuny? Don't do that again. That horrible scene. Was there any possibility that it all had just been an illusion? But it all felt so real. I wish I had all the answers right now so I wouldn't have to be freaking out. What? What was she saying? I was utterly dejected. I had been slightly suspicious back at the concert, and I turned out to be right. Fez really was a total schizo freak. Like us. 2 peas in a pod. They say there's a fine line between genius and insanity, but this is pushing it. Says the genius who is already pushed into insanity. Find what? I have it. It's back at home. I was taken aback. That was what Fez had told me back when we met at school. Yeah, but I'm saying I have it at school. I mean, fuck, I have it at home. If you do, you'll be granted salvation. She said this before. Aside from the police, what scared me the most was Shogun and his underlings. I had no idea why, but they were all trying to trap me, and they all clearly had malicious intent. In order to save myself from them, in order to protect myself, I needed...
Disorder.
You all say it wrong. It's die sword. Fez's lips twisted into the shape of a smile. Yup.
それなら手に入れた。僕はディソードを持ってる。
Yeah.
今家に。
It's really cool. Well, it's not cool at all. Well, she knew? How did she know? Oh, okay.
君が渋谷のど真ん中を歩いていたの。
Oh, yeah, she literally
大
saw.
きなおもちゃを抱きしめて恥ずかしそうにしてたわね。
Yup. Was she talking about the other day? That when I bought the die sword? Ah, Fez had seen me fuck my life. Wait a minute. What had she just said?
おもちゃ。
The smile had already disappeared from Fez's face. She glanced at my face and let out a small sigh. Her sense of ennui, her aloofness was so pure, it made me feel uneasy.
偽物だと思うわ。
Uh-huh.
あなたの買った剣は。
Wow, I would have never been able to know. I wasn't even that surprised. I'd expected, honestly. See, we already knew. It was just the comfort of thinking we had one. The sword I'd bought was way too cheap compared to the one Senna had. It didn't even glow. Dude, Senna's is cool, okay? Ours was shit. Besides, the idea that the sword that was supposed to bring me salvation was being sold for 10,000 yen alongside diddly toys was the least anime thing possible. So yeah, I wasn't surprised. Instead, I felt a furious surge of anger well up inside me. Anger at the gloomy shopkeeper who tricked me. Anger at myself for being so pathetic that I'd be tricked that easily. Anger at Fez for saying nothing meaningful in the slightest instead of just giving me a straight answer. He's both scared and angry. I stood up and moved closer to Fez. Normally I would never do something like that, but I was desperate. What are you doing? I'd been chased by Yua and the police only a few moments ago, and I was absolutely terrified. Not only that, but in the past month or so, I'd experienced countless bad thoughts. It was all too much for me. I couldn't take it anymore. No, we're positive. I had to get my hands on a sword so I could get back my peaceful way of life.
教えてよ。ディソード。どうやって手に入れるのか。
He like grabs her by the collar, starts shaking her like a crazy person. Fez's expression stiffened, and then she turned to me.
見て。
Okay, I am watching. She just gonna materialize it? She is. She's gonna be cool. She suddenly thrust the palm of her right hand out in front of me. Stopping me from coming any closer, Fez curled her right hand into a fist, and upon swinging her hand behind her in a motion resembling a back fist, oh, together with a sound akin to that of glass breaking, the empty space cracked, and then it shattered. Dude, that would be freaky. My eyes went wide. I was speechless. You just gonna like pull it out? Fez stared at me. Her expression had not changed in the slightest. With the cracks of the shattered space, was a deep darkness spreading wide. Okay, so that's what I was thinking. With her hand buried between the fissures, Fez pulled her hand back toward her with tremendous force. Yeah, she pulls it out. Oh, I like that. That's the cool way of getting your sword out. Straight anime, dude. Let's go! Now, if only we could do that. And now, within that hand was a giant sword.
ソード
Mother of God. The fissures in the empty space were repaired in an instant. The cracks disappeared as if nothing had even happened. It all happened in the span of a few seconds. Had that been a magic trick? Or was what I was seeing just a delusion? I don't know anymore. Let's just be along for the ride. It was far too removed from reality. I couldn't believe what had just happened right in front of me. This was a fantasy anime.
この剣は命運を握るもの。
Ah, that sword. It was the same she'd been wielding, excuse me, at the concert. The same one I'd mistaken for a microphone stand. The shape almost looked like a battleship ripped straight from a sci-fi anime. I mean, I could see where you're getting
この
that.
剣は嘆きを収束させたもの。
Huh. There were no straight lines to be found on it. And yet, it appeared incredibly sharp. Dude, this looks serrated. I don't want to be hurt. Incredibly beautiful. Incredibly sinister.
この剣は超越した場所に干渉するためのもの。
And that, if you so much as touched it, your fingers would be severed from the bone.
超越した場所って
I was mesmerized. Her dye sword utterly captivated me. Which was why I'd asked her that without thinking. No thinking anymore.
異空間のようなもの。
Do you like how they have like an extra like little sprite thing just for when the sword's out? Oh boy, info dump time. Dude, I don't even care. Give me all of it. This was definitely an anime at this point.
同一次元上にあるもう一つの可能性。あるいは妄想。
Oh god. A delusion.
言
Oh,
い方にあんまり意味はないわ。唯一確かなの。この剣もその領域に存在しているということ。
okay. So in other words, she was saying that her dye sword was a product of her delusions. Or something like that. Did that mean that the supernatural phenomena I'd seen before had also been delusions? Had they not been real?
そんなのありえない
You literally just saw her pull a sword out of trans-dimensional space. What are you talking about?
そう。
God damn it. Takumi, you son of a bitch. You literally well, really, us seeing a thing doesn't mean anything because we're fucking crazy. If it was a delusion, then why was I seeing Fez's sword right now? Because we
言
can
葉
see.
に引きずられてはダメよ。後ろを振り返ってみて。
I don't want to turn around. I don't listen to nobody when they tell me to turn around. I was baffled by Fez's request, but I complied anyway. Behind me was a flight of stairs, and on those stairs... why are you over there, naked? Well, you're not naked, you're in underwear. Was Fez, wearing only white lingerie. I'm gonna have to cover that up. You are very well aware of that, yeah, right?
え
He like looks back. She's not there. Or it's just her normal and then look back again. Yeah. Fez was standing right beside me. Fez was standing right on the stairs right in front of me. I'm sorry, I did want you in white underwear. Two of the same person in the same place. That's totally us. I'm sorry. And not only that, but one of them was incredibly sexy, wearing only her underwear. They're both sexy. Leave them alone. I'm completely and utterly flustered. I relentlessly snapped back and forth between the two fezzes over and over again, comparing them. They were exactly the same, right down to their facial features, height, and hairstyles. The only difference were their clothes, and whether or not they were carrying a sword. They weren't twins or anything like that, and they didn't just look alike. They were one and the same. I was just about to say that, but it did before me. Fuck, dude. I was used to seeing girls in their underwear in Edo-gay, but here, I couldn't handle it for some reason. Now's not the time. I had run into Nanami's smelly, piss-stained underwear countless times. Wow! So you'd think that this would be no big deal, but for whatever reason, I couldn't get myself to follow that line of logic. Fez was standing in the middle of this disgusting underpass in only her underwear. I felt like I was about to lose my mind from how unbelievable this situation was. Even though I knew I shouldn't look at her, I couldn't help but feel like I was this close to stealing a glance anyway. I'd feel very awkward. I'd be like, listen, I'm sorry that I may have created that. It took an insane amount of willpower to keep my eyes down.
ごめん
I automatically apologized because I knew that only a few minutes ago I'd had a delusion about this very thing. What do you think of that, buddy? Fez wearing white lingerie.
君が望んだ妄想よ
Okay, that's creepy. I don't like it. The two Fezzes said this at the same time, as if they could see right through me. I jumped, startled. I could feel my face rapidly turning red. I needed an excuse. I needed a way out of this. No, there is none. If a 3D girl labeled me as a pervert, it'd be over. I'd be socially obliterated. What the fuck are you talking about? We already are. Okay, wait, hold up. While that may be important, the more pressing matter is what the hell is happening? Let's think about our priorities. Oh, okay, bye. Billy Williams, help! Get me out! Just send me to the slammer! As he walked, God damn it. I didn't like when they said the thing at the same time. As he walked cautiously through the narrow, trash-ridden streets of Murayamacho, Bon Yasuji jammed one hand inside his pants pocket. Inside, he found a few dozen small coins.
先輩、貼り付けの現場に何があるっていうんすか？
Oh.
もう事件から2週間以上経ってるし、散々調べられた後っすよ。新しい証拠なんて出てきませんって。
You don't know. You never know, actually. His partner, Detective Suwa, had been walking behind him, grossing an irritated voice for quite some time. Though that was understandable, of course, as the job originally assigned to them had been to tail an important witness for the NewGen cases, Nishijo Takumi. However, the two of them had abandoned their tailing mission and had instead come to the scene of the third NewGen incident, colloquially known as the crucifixion. Bon had decided to abandon their original task of tailing Nishijo Takumi, forcing the burden onto some other detective in the same jurisdiction. Ha ha! The rookie detective Suwa was not pleased by this.
やっぱまずいっすよ。尾行に戻りましょう。
Dude, let Billy Williams cook. He never fails a case. The rookie detective had consistently been pushed around by his senior without any explanation, and he couldn't stand it. I mean, he's smiling. He's having a good time. For that reason, he had been incessantly trying to persuade Bond for a long while now, but to this Bond only said,
いいから黙ってついてこいって。
He remained aloof and refused to heed his junior's perfectly sound arguments. Finally, they had come across a narrow road blocked off by a yellow barricade tape. Oh, what the shit? As Suwa let out the latest in his myriad of sighs, His cell phone began vibrating near his chest. We got him. He quickly took out his phone, which had been set to vibrate, assumed the look of a capable detective, and pressed the accept button.
スワス。はい。はい。
As he listened to Sua's voice coming from behind him, Bond came to a stop in front of the barricade tape. Ooh. We ran this way too. Behind that tape was the crime scene. The deep darkness had settled over the area just as it had when the crime had been committed. But now there were no remaining traces of the incident, save for the barricade tape.
見失った？女か。やられたっすね。とりあえず深センの家に戻ってほしいっす。はい。張り込んでてください。
Right, I'm just extra fucked.
いやいや大丈夫っすよ。責任はバン警部補が取るっすから。
Hey, don't put this on Billy Williams. Bond smiled wryly upon hearing that. Sua could be surprisingly shrewd. Of course, Bond had no intention of placing the blame onto his subordinates, nor onto the detective he had placed in charge.
なるべく早くこっちも合流します。本当申し訳ないっす。お願いします。
Have fun. Right as Sua hung up the phone and returned his begrudging gaze to Bond, Bond ducked under the tape. Sua had no choice but to reluctantly accompany him.
見失ったって？
尾行に気づかれたっす。直前にネットカフェで一騒動あったみたいっすし。
See, he's smart, but he's also crazy, so, he's gonna be paranoid and would have suspected all of this.
女っての？
岸本綾瀬っす。
お騒がせバンドの嬢ちゃんか。
Okay, so
つながりは？
they already know.
同じ学校の同じ学年っすね。
Because of course they do. They investigated her as well.
他は今のところ特に。クラスメートでもないっす。
Bond brought a hand to his chin, savoring the rough texture of his stubble for a moment. After which he took several coins from his pocket and started counting them in the dark one by one. Sua stared at his eccentric senior with a puzzled look on his face.
何してるんすか？
よりによって5円玉だけありゃしね。
What are you doing, Billy Williams?
そう、お前5円玉持ってねえか？
はあ。
he's still he's doing all this shit and then has to give him money too. Perplexed, Sua took out a 5-yen coin from his wallet and held it out to Bond. However, instead of taking it straight away, Bond tore a bottom button off the shirt he was wearing. He then untied the thread fastened to the button. Oh, okay.
先輩、ついに頭おかしくなったんすか？
Dude, he's on to something.
生意気な口聞くようになったじゃねえか。
Bond chuckled and lightly whapped Sua on the head. He then took the thread and weaved it through the hole in the center of the coin. Okay, yeah, so... Oh?
よし、お前にやらせてやるよ。
What is he? So it's like he's got the hypnotism kind of thing. After pinching both ends of the thread with his fingers, Bond let the 5-yen coin hang down and handed it to his junior.
振り子っすか？
ああ。
Yeah. Bond smiled mischievously.
こいつが事件の重要なヒントを与えてくれるかもしれねえぜ。
マジっすか？
He's like, what are you talking about?
バンさん、勘弁してほしいっすよ。
No.
そのために仕事をほっぽってここまで来たんすか？
Dude, the craziness will lead us to the answer. Duh. Sua's tone was almost mournful. He had been pushed around countless times by Bond before now, but this time, Bond had finally managed to utterly stump the rookie detective. I would also be like, what in the world are... You know what? I'd go along with it.
サイキック操作とかダウジングとか
Drowsy.
その手のテレビでも見て影響を受けたんすね、先輩。
そういうお前も詳しいじゃねえの。
いや、まあ自分も見たは見たっすよ。先週のユーリ・ブライトマン。
Dude, he's got all the knowledge in his brain mind, okay?
ユーリ・
ユーリ・ブライトマンっすよ。今話題になってる アメリカの超能力捜査官っす。
Oh god. Psychic detective from America? That means he's fake.
俺が見たのはそんなチャラチャラしたもんじゃねえや。どこかのお偉い大学教授が出ててだな。
でもテレビっすよね。
いちいち文句の多いやつだ。やってみりゃわかる。ほら、いいから吊るしてみろって。
Okay. When his senior issued that request, Suwa did not have any room to refuse. His lips pursed in a sullen manner, but he reluctantly accepted the 5 yen coin. He pinched the ends of the string and began to twirl it around in a circle, creating a centrifugal motion. It was too dark for either of them to see it clearly, so Bond flicked on a 100 yen cigarette lighter and used it as their light source.
先輩ってタバコ吸いましたっけ？
10年以上前に禁煙したやん。なんでだ？
That's also in the Billy Williams lore.
ライター持ってたっすから。
こういうこともあろうかと用意しといたんだよ。
I mean, you never know when you might need one.
はは。で、これで何がわかるんす？
もっといろいろ動かしたり止めたりしてみろ。
Are we gonna like see some weird shit? Bond monitored the movement of the 5 yen coin intently. Bond's eyes were so intensely serious, Suwa could no longer complain about this being a pointless excursion.
やっぱりな。
What?
すわ、わかるか？
何がっす？
You're gonna have to lay this one out for me.
五円玉の動きだよ。
What about it?
さっきから少しだけ楕円を描いてるような気がしねえか？
I guess, yeah. From this, they even have like the little movement of it too. Using the thread as support, the dangling 5 yen coin was slowly revolving in a circular motion. Suwa cocked his head.
力の入れ方とかじゃないんすかね。
お前、楕円に回るように意識してやってんのか？
I mean, is he like, he just like swung it a little bit, right?
いや、結構適当にくるくると。
もっと手を動かさねえようにやってるわ。
Okay, yeah, so just leave it hanging there.
Huh.
See what happens. Suwa consciously tried to move his hand in a circular fashion, but no matter how hard he tried, the trajectory drawn by the 5 yen coin was always elliptical in shape.
おかしいな。
Oh, that is pretty
意識
weird.
的に違う形にしようとしてもできねえだろ。
Bond's face was full of pride. Suwa, on the other hand, was still not convinced and continued relentlessly in his quest to try and change the motion of the pendulum.
なあ、渋谷のどこでもこの現象が見られるわけじゃねえが、それでも十数箇所はここみてえな場所があるらしいぜ。
確かに不思議っすね。でも、だから何なんす？
Dude, I'd be kind of weirded out. Bond looked up in satisfaction, put his lighter back in his pocket, then retrieved the hand fan that he had stabbed between his belt and his pants.
お前、渋谷がなんでここまで若者を引きつけるか知ってるか
5円玉が楕円を描くからっすか？
Suwa thought he was making a clever jab, but Bond nodded readily in response, calmly fanning his face all the while.
まあ、そういうことだ。
What? Well, how? Why? Space Marines? Help! I don't. Oh, yeah, just.
なぜこの渋谷という場所は若者たちをこんなにも引きつけると思う？
Oh, you even said the same thing. I'm gonna have to like. Oh, God damn it. Suddenly, the conversation I was having with Fez transitioned into something completely unrelated. But I was actually somewhat relieved by that. I'd expected Fez to start treating me like a pervert, but she just ignored it like nothing had even happened.
日本、いいえ、世界を見渡してみてもこんな場所他になかなかないわ。
Can one of you talk? It would just make me feel better. Did this have something to do with die swords? If not, then I didn't care. God damn it. I had to somehow find a way to get Fez to tell me how to get my hands on a real die sword.
新宿でも池袋でもなくて渋谷この街の名前が一人歩きをしてしまうくらい
Both in front of me and behind me. The same exact words were being spoken from the two Fezes at the exact same time. Perfect synchronization. It gave me a somewhat strange feeling. Strange, you say? Yes. Had Fez split in half? Was both of them the real Fez? Or were both of them imposters? I like how
日
that...
本中の人たちに刻まれているわ若者のマーチという記号なぜかしら
Dude, it's crazy that Billy Williams is already on this. Why? Well, that has absolutely nothing to do with me. Dude, Takumi's
フ
just...
ァッションの街だからお店がたくさんあるから
It's the lip, the
流
lip
行の
promotion.
発信者だからよくテレビに映るから交通の便がいいから違うわどれ
The two Fezes paused for a moment. Being watched from both in front and from behind me started to make me feel uncomfortable. Started?
大いなる意志よ公示存在もっとわかりやすく言えば神による意志なの
Oh. Why is God always following me? This is bad. My rational side warned me. Could this be... Maybe she was trying to recruit me into some sketchy religious cult. I began to feel uneasy. Man, maybe I should just get the hell out of here. He just starts running. That would be hilarious. But upon hearing the next thing Fez said to me, I realized I no longer had that option. Oh no.
理想度もまたその意志による導きよ
Oh, yes, yes. Oh, I don't like when it... Oh. Dude,
引力ってあるだろ
it's like... Bon returned to the main street from the alleyway and then began walking towards Shibuya Station. Suwa, who now assumed they were going to Shinsen, chased after his senior detective with an obvious frown on his face.
万有引力のことっすか？
よく知ってるじゃねえの。さすがいい大学出てるだけあるな。
So like, Suwa grew discouraged in response to Bon's slightly mocking tone.
あいにく大学じゃオカルトは勉強しなかったっすけどね。
オカルトじゃねえよ。世界には引力がアンバランス化してる地域ってのが何か所かある。
アンバランス化ですか。
I like how we're having like a scientific explanation for like this part, and then like we have where we are, where it's just all sorts of fucked. You know?
グリコが楕円を描いたのもその影響ってこった。G レートって呼ぶらしい。
G-rate?
GE レート。
G-rate?
ああ、正式名称は何だっつってたかな。グルバケーション、グラリッシュ、
I mean,
引力ならグラビテーションじゃないですか？
there we go.
グラビテーションエラーレート。
おお、そうそう、それだ。
That makes sense to me.
グラビテーションエラーレート。
直訳すると万有引力の異常値っすか。
物理学の辞典を調べりゃ載ってるはずだぜ。
載ってたっすかね。
The GE rate, an imbalance that contradicts the law of universal gravitation, discovered by Isaac Newton. The law of universal gravitation is a fundamental force of nature that acts between all forms of energy and matter, i.e. anything that contains mass. It is commonly believed that the great number of strata layered upon the Earth's surface play a large part in this law. A typical example of something that disturbs local areas would be lava beds. This phenomenon can be found at the foot of Mount Fuji, Aokigahara, thank you brain, it didn't work, also known as the Sea of Trees, where there have been several recorded instances of compasses becoming unusable. Yeah, I've heard of that, where the compass just stops, like it just doesn't work anymore. Studies have shown that fossil beds, particularly rich in iron and calcium, are another type of stratum in which magnetism is repelled. Adding on to the previous factors, magnetite is also believed to have a particular strong influence on gravity. If magnetite, a naturally occurring magnet with a cathedral crystal structure, thank you brain, were to be found beneath the earth in a quantity large enough to warrant being recognized as a yes. It would be as if the ground itself were a magnet. This would then result in an extremely high chance of the area producing minute gravitational deviations. The GE rate is the measurement of the gravitational values in a region in which such values have been distorted by the previously mentioned geological strata. It's all connected. Where Bond's explanation concluded, the two men had been walking the entire time, were just exiting onto Dogenzaga. Thank you. The scenery surrounding them instantly turned bright and dazzling.
渋谷の平均 GE レートは世界でもトップクラスらしいぜ。地面に置いたボールが一人でに坂を登っていくようなケースもあるらしい。
マジっすか?
That just sounds insane. Sua, who had been listening to in utter silence up until now, showed his surprise with a slightly exaggerated tone.
まるで SF 映画の世界っすね。
I know, right?
お前の好きなな。
自分は小難しいのは嫌いっすよ。壮大なスケールの映画がいいっす。
Oh, this is all convoluted, trust me.
知らねえよ。
But not in like a bad way. There's just a lot going on.
先輩の説明はすごくもっともらしいっすけど、なかなか信じられないっすよ。GE レートなんて聞いたこともないっすし。
てめえの無知を一般論として語るな。デカに必要なのは事実を客観視することだぞ。
はあ、でも。
What Sua said was equally true. The research into the GE rate was minimal, and it certainly was not something that would be taught to an everyday college student. Because it really is just, what's the word? It's low priority. Bond himself had not even been aware of it until a few weeks ago.
そもそもまだ肝心の答えを聞いてないっすよ。渋谷の重力がアンバランスだと、なんで若者が引きつけられるんすか？
引力と人間ってのは意外と因果関係があるってことだよ。お前、生き物のバイオリズムは月の引力に関係してるっての知ってたか？
Yes.
潮の満ち引きだけじゃねえんだぜ。
ウミガメの産卵には月の影響があるらしいってのはどっかで耳にしたことがあるっす。
ああ、必ず満月の夜に産卵するってやつだな。だがウミガメだけじゃねえ。他に有名なのだとサンゴが産卵するのも満月の夜だ。
は
ああ、海の中が雪降ってるみたいになるやつっすね。
満月の夜は引力も強くなってるって科学的に実証されてんだ。
Really?
当然人間にもその影響は及んでる。
Is this like actually like a thing or no?
人の出産にもってことっすか？
I mean, I know like, you know, the moon, you know, actually does affect the tide and stuff, but like all this other stuff, I don't know, man.
出産だけじゃねえよ。バイオリズムって言ったろ。 通の生理現象はもちろん、交通事故や事件、病気、食欲とか性欲とかにも密接なつながりがある。興奮すると頭に血が上ってるって言うだろう。
Yeah.
あれは月の引力に引っ張られてるんだよ。
I don't know. I...
そりゃ極論だと思うっすよ。まるで個々の感情なんて関係なくて全部月のせいだって言ってるようなもんじゃないっすか。
Precisely.
そこまでは言わねえがな。集団心理って言うだろう。この町に来た途端に楽しい気分になったり、ちょっと無茶したくなったりするかもしんねえんじゃねえの。ニュージェネの一連の事件に対する反応だってそうだ。
I get what he's saying.
この町でそのニュースを見た連中は大抵反応が同じだ。どいつもこいつも楽しんでやがる。自分だけは被害者にならないって気持ちだ。対岸の火事を眺めていい気になってる。
We really shouldn't be enjoying anything like this.
そういう集団心理も GE レートのせいってことっすか？
可能性としてはありだろう。
In like, and it's only in like specific areas though too, because like we went to the crucifixion scene and it did, and the gravitational rate was all fucked. So like perhaps that's where every NewGen murder, you know, in every place that happened, it's the same thing in that spot.
渋谷に来たら楽しい気分になるってのが若いやつらの頭の中に無意識に刷り込まれれば、
若者がこの街に惹かれる理由になるってわけっすね。
Huh. Suo really is a fast learner, Bond thought to himself, impressed. The junior detective was still young, but that part of him truly was worthy of praise. In addition, what set him apart from other young people was that he did not just follow his seniors blindly. Whenever he had a question or whether he thought something didn't make sense, he would always voice it despite the fact that he was a junior in name.
GE レートについては一応分かったっすけど、それでどうやって犯人を探すんですか？もし GE レートに影響されて今回みたいな事件が起きたってなら、何百年も前から似たようなことが起きてないと変なんじゃ。
Don't worry, it wasn't your fault. It was all gravity.
そいつはこれから調べりゃいいさ。専門家がな。
先輩は調べないんですか？
Like a crazy person.
俺はデカだぞ。
I'm just a detective. Bond smirked from ear to ear.
調べるのはニュージェネのことだけだ。そのために今日はわざわざ仕事サボって現場の GE レートを測ったんだ。もしこれまでの一連の現場の GE レートが異常を示したなら、何を意味すると思う？
I see.
まさか。
Sua's eyes went wide and he stopped dead in his tracks. It seemed as if he had realized what Bond was trying to imply.
事件は GE レートが異常を示している場所で起こるってことっすか？だとしたら次の事件が起こる場所をある程度予測できるんすね。
That's true.
まだそう決まったわけじゃねえよ。それをこれから調べんだ。
We'd have to like mark down literally every spot in the city that has, you know, where it's all fucked, and then be like, okay, these are where these incidences already happened. These ones don't, you know, aren't. So we gotta figure this out. There was something lurking within this city, something yet unknown, hidden deep beneath its flashy exterior. Perhaps it was akin to Pandora's box, something not meant to be touched by the hands of men. Thoughts such as these pervaded Bond's mind as he watched the pedestrians file down the streets of Shibuya. I just put it.
理想度もまだその意志による導き。
Again, I do like how it's all over here. It's all crazy schizo chuny bullshit, that is also true, because I mean we're seeing it right now. But then like over there it's all scientific and all. I just want to get down and start crying.